business case before? Oh, thank you. Yeah, have we heard of business case before?
Yes.
So what do we know about business case? Anything, just tell me. You can unmute yourself. It's free. Today's Friday. Mm. And if there's anything you don't understand while I'm running through the slide, you can just stop me and ask me. Yeah. So what do we know about business case? Anything at all is fine.
To us, coming from a project management background, when we say business case, it's talking about the cost, the risks involved in the business. So that is one of the key components of every project's life cycle, because that is what you're showing to the organization, what the cause and effects are for the organization, and what the risks of the project you're about to carry for the about to carry on for the organization. And also sometimes the business case can go as well as cover the environment, which means you can still add to, depend on which field, is it under IT or is it under infrastructure, you can still add the environment in it, which if it's under infrastructure, you cover the risks of the environment where you're going to build. But if it's under IT,
Fantastic.
I've never done that, so
That's
I don't
good.
know.
It's good. It's good. At least you have an idea. That's what counts. Yeah. Does anybody wants to say something about business case?
It's a formal document justifying a project,
That's the
detailing
word.
it.
You strike the word justification. Now, if anybody asks you why you are in this program, what exactly are they asking you? Yeah. They want to know the reason why you are in the program. And for you yourself that is in the program, yeah, you know why you are in the program. And if anybody asks you, you can justify why you are in the program. And if you paid for the program, yeah, then you know why you are paying for the program. Yeah. So what are we learning today? To understand what a business case is, to identify the components of a business case, and to develop a strong problem and opportunity statements. Then, lastly, present our option, recommendation. That's all what we're going to be learning today, but it's not as simple as that. What is a business case? A business case is simply a justification document. Yeah. Why are we doing this? Why are we embarking on this project? Why do we have to invest in the project? So I need a justification for me to invest my money in the project. Yeah. So for example, BlueSky, yeah, wants to improve their business or wants to um, increase their revenue base. Yeah. Why? Because they know a lot of people now are going into an online program. Yeah. And BlueSky is trying to tap. I'm just saying, I'm just giving an example. It's trying to tap into that, uh, uh, trying to take advantage of that, yeah, to make some money for themselves. Yeah. So that means they will need to probably upgrade the system they are using, or they will need to change something. Now, for them to change something, they need justification for it. Now, what's the justification? They want to make money, if that's the case. Or they want to be known as the best platform for online training. Now, that's the justification. So it's easy for the business or BlueSky to invest money. Am I making sense? So a, a, a business case is simply a justification document that showcases why the project should be implemented. It helps to support the decision-making process for that project. Yeah, you guys are in different teams and you have your individual project, and your individual projects cost money. Now, for the business owner or the organization, or say BlueSky, to invest money, yeah, in your project, they need a justification for it. Why are you going to the university? You have a justification going to the university. Why do you eat? There's always a justification for something. Otherwise, why do it anyways? Am I making sense? Yeah. Now, before now, a business case is more like a pre-project document. Yeah. That's the document you produce before the project will kick off, before the business will decide, okay, this is what we want to invest in. We want to invest in your own project. But these days, there's slight, because of agile, there are different ways to look at a business case. Yeah. For example, if you guys have started your project, yeah, they've given you the requirements and everything, then all of a sudden they come back to you and they ask that, oh, we forgot some requirements. Can we add this requirement to what we already have? Yeah, of course, yes, because you're working. Yeah, so you take it, but they will not ask you, okay, or sorry, you have an idea, you've been working on this, and all of a sudden you guys now probably discovered that you needed something to be added for, say you are building a website, you know, along the line you discovered that you needed to add a certain feature because that is what will enable probably the business to be visible more. Yeah. Now, if you approach your product owner or your stakeholder, yeah, they might ask you one question. Why are we doing it? Yeah. That means you need to give them a justification for that thing, because that thing is going to cost money. So they actually need you to give them justification so that if they are investing their money, they know why they are investing their money. They have to make a decision whether to invest or not to invest. So a business case, yeah, is that document that will help them make that decision to invest or not to invest. Yeah. There's something I was supposed to take you guys before now. Things like, what is a project? What's a program, and what's a portfolio? I believe you guys are supposed to know this. Yeah. Do we have an idea what a project, a program, and a portfolio is?
Can I give it a shot?
Yes, please.
Okay. A project is like what we are actually working on, which is just to deliver um any something, a collection of work packages to deliver a project. But when we now have a collection of projects, that takes us to a program. When you have maybe in an organization, you have this team working on this project or another team working on that project, and we all fall under one big umbrella. So that's what I understand to be a program. It could be different projects, but within that same space of delivering something for a program. Then the third one, you said, what was that one again?
Portfolio.
Portfolio. Then I think that's the I'm not sure if portfolio or the program is of the higher order, but don't let me just.
Let me help you.
Thank you.
What is particular about a project is that it has timeline. It has a start and an end. Yeah. So it has a lifespan. Now, a program is also a project, but is a collection of relative projects. For instance, if you have a project in finance, or you have a project, say, in hospitality, yeah, you can have a program. You can call that, say, a program, yeah, which is collection of projects. Under hospitality, they are all related. So you move them into a program called hospitality program. Yeah. So hospitality program has a collection of projects. Yeah. For example, catering, hotel management. You might have all those kind of projects. Yeah. As individual entity, but as a collection, you group them into a program. The same thing you can do in finance or in education. Yeah. Now, a collection of projects is known as a program, while a collection of program becomes a portfolio. You know, when they talk about a financial portfolio, they're talking about collection of different, yeah, investments put together to become your portfolio. Just that's how your project, your program, and your portfolio is being explained. Yeah. So if you look at where you are now in this environment, there's so many projects going on at the same time. Yeah. You guys might be aware of some, but there I can tell you that there's a lot of other projects going on, yeah, at the background that you guys are not aware of. Now, at a higher level, yeah, the business or the organization will see all the projects that are running. Now, that's why we need an PMO, planner. And that's why I also need a delivery manager, yeah, to help us deliver our project. But the um, PMO analysts, yeah, work in a program office. So they see all the projects that are running. So they manage the risk, they monitor activities within the project, and they report back to the board. Yeah. So if you hear project management office or a PMO analyst, yeah, you know they are looking after series of projects. Yeah. So as a project, for every project, there's always a justification for the project. Now, who is responsible for providing that justification? Now, you know that for every project, there's always a project manager. Yeah. There's a project manager, there's a delivery manager. Yeah. So they are responsible for the project. Yeah. But when it now comes to the business case, yeah, they are also responsible for the business case. The business analyst also is responsible for the business case. So either of you can be asked to do the business case. Usually the project manager would take up that responsibility because he's the one that would approve funds or assign, allocate funds for the project. Yeah. But the business analyst, yeah, they oversee, they understand what the project is. So they help to gather all the requirements Yeah, because already they are looking at the solution. They've gathered the requirement. They understand the nitty-gritty of the project. So it's easier for them to develop a business case for it. Sorry. Non-co, I don't really,
Yes,
I hope
NOCO.
I'm not
So
spoiled.
no,
Non-co.
NOCO.
Come
So
again?
okay, it's NOCO, but most of you pronounce it NOCO, which is okay.
Non-co.
So okay, so I want to just be clear. Let's say you use an example of Blue Sky. So a
Mm,
project, let me say we are in internship, that should be a project because it runs for a specific time, which is 3 months.
yes.
Then
Yeah.
the program will be, maybe we'll say we're going to the advanced program, which runs for 12 months. And then the portfolio will be the various, like you have the SMs,
No, not
the
necessarily. Let me
BAs.
break it down for you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's say we have in your batch, yeah,
Yes.
in your batch, they have multiple projects running at the same time. Okay, take for instance, yeah, you are building Blue Sky website, yeah. Now, let's say you are focused on the front end of the website. That is the part where the customers are going to engage. Yeah. There's another team working on the back end where the staff, yeah, the admin, the database administrators, the cybersecurity analysts are going to be working on. So that's another project on its own. Now you understand now, you guys are
Yeah.
working on the same project. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have your own project, which is the front end. Yeah. Then there's the back end of the project. Yeah. So collectively, you can see that as a program because a program is a collection of two or more projects, related projects. Does that make sense now for
It
program?
does. It does. Yeah.
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 Now, for when we now go to the next level, which is the portfolio level, it's a broader view. Now, Blue Sky, for instance, is not only focused on enlightening or trying to help people, train people to be professionals in their field. They also have a wing where they do charity work. Yeah. They also have other business areas. Yeah. Where again, they could have their own programs, individual projects or um, multiple projects that becomes, that collectively they become their own program, just like you are doing with your front end and your back end. Yeah. They have their own. So if you group all those programs together, it becomes Blue Sky portfolio. I don't know if it makes sense. Yeah, you know what you can do? You can go back and read about project, yeah, program and portfolio. It will make sense to you when you read it up on your own. I promise you. Yeah. So for each of those projects to be implemented, you need a justification because there's going to be financial implication. So they need you to tell us why should we even look at your project? Yeah. So that is one. Just simply put, a business case is simply a justification for the project initiative. Yeah. Now, a project or initiative is the same thing. Yeah. A business case is simply a rationale for implementing the project. It helps the business to make decision. Yeah. business analyst write bulk of the business case. Now, a business case is not the work of just one person. Can everybody still hear me? Yeah?
Yes.
A team is a teamwork. Is a teamwork. So it's not just you, the business analyst, that writes it. Yeah? You can facilitate the session, business case session. Yeah? But majority of the things that goes into the business case, you're going to be doing the work. Yeah? But again, most of the time they might not tell you to do a business case, but just in case, when my first assignment as a business case was when first assignment as a business analyst was writing a business case. Yeah. So you might end up becoming the person they will use to write a business case. Now, someone that writes a business case sits at the higher level of the organization. That's enterprise level. That's the highest level of the organization. Yeah. You guys are working in an agile team. Yeah. At that higher level, they've made the decision that your project should be implemented. So they've organized you guys to take on that task, to do whatever build it is that they want to build. Yeah. But at the higher level, you've already agreed.
6 more minutes to get it. Do make sure
So I want to ask a question. Okay. So just know that in a business case, you have a lot of inputs there. Now, this gives you an advantage. Yeah. As a business analyst, everybody, yeah, are relying on you on a lot of things. So that means you'll be close to everybody. Yeah. And because you're writing the business case, the sponsor, yourself and the sponsor might be very close. Yeah. Because they are relying on you. Because the sponsor is going to be the person that is going to approve your business case. So therefore, yeah, you're going to be working hand in hand with your sponsor and the financial team as well. Yeah. There's a number of team that you work with. The finance is there because money is going to be involved. The finance, the accountants, or whoever it is that manages finance will have to come in to do the accounting part of it. Yeah. Your project manager is there, or your delivery manager is there. Your program director can also be there if you have one, or your sponsor, wherever you find yourself. Yeah. There's number of people that will help you when you are developing a business case. Yeah, it's not a day job. Yeah, take some time. So that's an overview of a business case. What goes into a business case? What's the content of a business case? Now, a business case is written like this: background, context, program and opportunity statement, objective, options, down to executive summary. This is how it's written on your right-hand side. Can you see my cursor? Then how is the business case presented? If you look at my right-hand side, you see how the business case is presented. You see the executive summary here, it goes to the top. Sometimes you see people writing business case, they want to start with executive summary. How do you do an executive summary when you don't have anything that you've written? Executive summary is only talking about the body of what you already have. You're just summarizing it so that whoever wants to read the content of this could quickly glance through the summary and have an understanding or gain interest to read up every other thing in your business case. So your executive summary sometimes have to be solid for them to be able to pick interest. Yeah? Does it make sense at this point? Yes or no?
Yes, it does.
Yeah? Remember, we write the business case. If you look at my left here, this is how we write the business case from the background down to executive summary. Then presenting a business case after writing it, the executive summary comes back to the top. Yeah. I believe most of us went to the university here. In the university, they ask us to do our dissertation. Yeah. Most times you realize when people want to write the dissertation, they start with, the summary of the work. Yeah. By the time they approach their supervisor will say, no, what are you writing? You have to give us a background first and tell us what your goals and objectives are. And how do you intend to carry out your analysis? That's what dissertation is. Almost the same thing here. It's just that when you're writing your dissertation, the only difference is the content. Your business case have a different content from what your dissertation content is. Yeah. So writing a business case and presenting a business case is very important to know this. Now, and understanding the content of a business case is what you need to know, because projects are different. Yeah. But if you understand the content, what should go into a business case, whatever project they put in front of you, whatever idea that is in front of you, you will be able to develop a business case. Yeah. Now, we go back, we could see the business case starts with the background or context. Yeah. So those, I'm going to be talking about each of these items from 1 down to 13. Yeah. Now, in your own case, when you're writing it, you can put some of these um, um, headings together. Yeah. But for us to understand what exactly goes into a business case, I had to open it up so that we'll see everything and understand each of those items. Yeah. So now we're talking about the business.
Man, I think we've lost it. Or is he not saying anything?
Are you hearing me?
Can hear you, and I
hear
think
me?
you broke for a while.
Where did you hear me last? Is it on this page?
I think you just entered the page.
So once I just entered the break.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. Can I go on from here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So we're starting with the business context. Let me go back one step. Oh, I see. Yeah. Just understand the content of a business case and how a business case is presented. Yeah. Now, we're going to be talking about each of these heading from 1 to 13. Yeah. So starting with the background context. So business case context, what does that actually mean? It simply means your current situation. For example, before joining this program, can you guys still hear me?
Yes. Yes, we
Okay,
can.
good. Before joining this program, we could as well say you don't know anything. Yeah, before you started the program. So that is more like a context. You do not know anything, that's your current situation. It's just like you saying you're as if. Yeah. your current situation. Yeah. Okay. The context can also mean what is what is the driver, or what drives you to join this program? What was behind the reason you joined this program? You want to talk about it. Yeah. So it can be internal, it can be external. Yeah. It can be as a result of you trying to align, you have a goal. Yeah. And your goal is to be a business analyst tomorrow. And for you to become a business analyst tomorrow, yeah, you join this program. Yeah. Now you can see that this program aligns with your goal of becoming a business analyst. Why? Because you're going to be trained to have an understanding of what business analysts do and how to carry out business analysis activities. So you can see it aligns with your desire. Yeah. So it can be external, your current process, your pain points. What is your challenge? Yeah. It could be external. Probably you've looked at the market trend. You know, today everybody's talking about AI. They are not talking about cloud anymore. Although cloud is still there selling, but everybody's not talking about AI. So it's external. It's a trend. And you can see majority of businesses are trying to, you know, hook up to AI in their businesses. Yeah. So again, business case justifies why you want to embark on whatever initiative that you have in your mind or they've put in front of you. Yeah. So you need to know you need to be aware of the business environment. What is happening in the organization? So I gave an example here. Look at the background. Yeah. BlueSky has expanded into 3 new markets over the past 2 years, leading to a 45% increase in employees requiring onboarding compliance training. Now, again, context, because they have expanded, yeah, they now have more employees required onboarding. They now have to onboard new employees. And because the employees have to be compliance, they have to undergo training. Now, that's a context for BlueSky. Now, again, you look at the next line, it says, current training is delivered through manual processes and scattered platforms, which create inconsistency and insufficiency. Yeah, you could see they've expanded. Because they've expanded, it has created an issue for them. Yeah. Again, it's not really an issue yet because you are giving context. You're just giving why did we arrive at this project? Yeah. So if we go to the next line, it says at the same time, there's a growing industrial shift towards digital learning. Remember here, talk about manual processes. At the top, it talks about the need for training, compliance training, the need for training. So now on the next line, their most current training is their current training is manual process and they don't have a particular platform. Everything is just scattered. Yeah. Then the third line, you could see how the first lead to the second is now leading to the third. So now, because most organizations are taking advantage of the online platform, so now they want to connect to that online platform. So you can see how I build that context. Yeah. And the fourth line, which is very important. Yeah. You might not be familiar with this. The third line. BlueSky have a goal to be digital first organization. That is to be the best digital training platform. Their goal or their vision is to be the best training platform. Yeah. So now, whatever they are going to be looking at have to align with that. Because if you go through the steps, you will notice online has to do mostly digital. Yeah. So now there is an opportunity to modernize their training through a centralized learning management system. Does this thing not look very simple? Yeah. So you see how I built I gave context to why we're doing what we are doing. Yeah. Does it make sense? Are we confused?
Makes sense. It's just knowing what to do. Like if you haven't shown us now, we wouldn't actually know how to go about it, like the way it's been written on each section.
Okay. Now, this is just my write-up. Now, what you can do, you can look at your case as an individual. Yeah. You ask yourself, why are you here? If somebody asks you, why did you register for this program? Yeah. You want to provide justification for you being in this program. So you have to start by giving them an idea of where you are currently. Yeah. And where you want to be. Yeah, that's what context is about. So the next line is after understanding where you are. Yeah, you define the context. You now want to look at, okay, based on the context, meaning there is a gap. For example, in your case, before you join this program, you don't have an idea what business analyst is. Now you are in the program, you do know why business analyst is. Let's say before you join the program, you don't have an idea. It means there's a problem, yeah, that you want to solve. That is why you join the program. Let's say there's no program, but you've seen trend that everybody is doing business analyst, business analyst, business analyst. So now you want to take opportunity, you want to take advantage of the opportunity in the market. Train yourself as a business analyst and probably move into the business analyst space. So that you can see the difference between problem statements and opportunity statements. So you can take advantage of the problem if you define if your case is a problem, or you can take opportunity of the situation if your case is an opportunity. Therefore, you want to come up with an opportunity statement or a problem statement. Now, how do we write these statements? I gave us an example here. Yeah. To write a problem statement, you want to define what the issue is. Remember, you've given context. Now you want to define it. Yeah. Remember when you are writing your user story, you say, you say what you want to do. Yeah. Um, what's the context when you're writing user story? What's the breakdown of? Yeah,
As a
I
user,
want to
whatever I want to.
so you're looking at what you're looking at who, what, and the impact or the benefit of what you want to do. So you are defining it. So in this case, yeah, you look at what the issue is. What's the cause of the issue? What the issue is or what the cause of the issue. Then how does it impact you? That's a problem statement. Now, in terms of opportunity, it's similar. Yeah, because you are taking advantage. So you want to define the potential gain or benefits that you're going to derive as a result of whatever it is that you want to do. So you look at the example here. Our manual reporting process delays decision making by 2 weeks. You can see that there's a problem there, there's an issue, and there's an impact. Yeah. If you look at the opportunity, you see automating the reporting can speed up decision making by 70%. So you can see benefits. Yeah. It speeds up decision making. That's your benefits. The potential of whatever you want to do, the gain or the benefits. Now, this is an example. This is the format. For a problem statement, you can use words like problem of X has the effect of Y with the impact of Z. Does it make sense? You can see how I'm trying to simplify this so that you'll be able to take whatever is here and replicate whatever you want to do. Yeah, this is just more like a format to guide you to create yours. Yeah. So what I can ask us to do is to look at ourselves as an individual or look at our project. Yeah. And try and implement this as in relation to our project. Does it make sense? Now, if you don't do it, if you don't practice it, you will not know where you need improvement. Yeah. So until you do it, you would think because I've written it like this is easy. Yeah. You do not have to even write it like this, the way I wrote it. This is just a guide. You can come up with your own way as long as others could understand what you're trying to communicate, then it's fine. Yeah. Does it make sense? Yeah. So you could see the example. The problem of frequent website crashes has the effect of increasing customers' complaint. What is the impact? With the impact of customer loyalty decline and decrease revenue. Customer loyalty declines, therefore, revenue also decreases. Look at the second one too, it tells you the same. The absence of centralized training platform leads to inefficiency, poor learner engagement, and compliance risk. Yeah, so you could see that there is a problem or issue, and there's also the impact of the problem and issue. So the same way you can define an opportunity statement if that is your case. Yeah. So after you've written your business context, you've given a problem or an opportunity statement, you now want to go into the main meat, yeah, of, I'll say, strategy of how you want to achieve, how do you want to resolve the problem? You know, now at the first instance, there's a problem or there's an opportunity. The next line is the strategy. How do you intend to resolve the problem or the problem or the opportunity? Yeah. So we talk about the goals and objective. This is very vital. in business analysis, there's something they call context. What we are doing now is context. Context. If you look at in business analysis guide or any text of business analyst, there's a business analyst context, yeah, or a business context. So what we are doing is trying to give context to whatever it is that we want to embark on. Yeah. So we now define the goal. Again, I want us to understand this. Here is like we are writing our user story. Yeah. Here is like our acceptance criteria. You remember, our acceptance criteria is what gives context to our user story. It's what makes our user story unique. Why? Because that is what you measure. That is what you test. Am I correct? Yeah. So your goals and your objective is what you test, what you measure to determine if you actually have resolved your problem or meet with the opportunity. Yeah. So in this case, we'll talk about the goal. What is the goal? A goal is simply a high-level statement. A goal or an objective, they are just statements, yeah? But the goal is the high-level, long-term statement. Why the objective is short-term, yeah, statement or short-term strategy. Call it strategy, yeah? Short-term statements, yeah, that when put together, yeah, you can use that to now measure if you actually meet up your goal. Am I making sense? So when you have a long-term goal, you now start creating a short-term goal. So how do you write your goal? Again, there's something they call the SMART goal. Yeah. Now, you remember when you're writing your acceptance criteria, what do they say your acceptance criteria will meet up to? Can anyone remember? When they say your acceptance criteria must be measurable, must be specific, what's that acronym they use?
It's smart now.
No, not the SMART goal now. Yeah, whatever that thing is also looking at the SMART goal. Can anybody remember? So nobody can remember.
I can remember the one for estimation.
So what is it? Tell me.
You can either use a t-shirt size or use the Fibonacci sequence when you're estimating the tickets.
Okay. That's for Scrum Master. Yes, Scrum Master.
Yes, sir.
Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, that's okay. If you're a business analyst, you write requirements, you break it down to user story and acceptance criteria. Yeah? Now, how do you know if your acceptance criteria is achievable? How do you ensure your acceptance criteria meets the
Testable.
definition of done? It must be
Testable.
testable. Yeah? It must be what?
Clear and concise.
Yeah.
It must be clear and concise. There's an acronym they use. Okay? Testable, clear and concise. Go on. It must be small. Okay, I'll leave that to you. Go and Google it. Yeah? So we'll continue. So, but when you're writing your goals and objective, it has to meet the SMART criteria. Here we call it the SMART criteria. Yeah, it must be specific, it must be measurable, it must be achievable, relevant, and time bound. For example, your goal is to increase customer satisfaction. God, how can we measure customer satisfaction? Can we really measure it? Yes, of course. Okay. For us to increase our customer satisfaction, yeah, what do? One of the objectives is to provide a single platform for creating, delivery, and tracking all learning content. Yeah, that's one of our objectives. So if we look at it, is this simple to provide a single platform? Yeah, for creating, delivering, and tracking all learning content. Let's see. Is it specific? Yes. To provide a single content is specific. We can test it. Yeah. Is it measurable? Yes, of course. It's measurable because we can test it. Let's say they finish building the website. We're building a website now, learning management website. Yeah. Everything that we want is on that website. Yeah. So that's a learning platform. That's what we are creating. We can also determine if that website can deliver and track all learning content. For example, when you registered in BlueSky, yeah, BlueSky, if you go on their website, they have learning content. As you are progressing, they can track your progress as well. Yeah, so that means their website can always deliver and track learning because all their contents are there. For example, after this, you have the video you can share with yourself. Yeah, you can upload somewhere. Yeah, so they can also track learning because you also have your timetable there. You have all the courses there. You have all your meetings there. So that means this captures everything that you want. The whole single platform that can create content, deliver the content, and track all learning content. So let's say you've achieved that. You can measure that. So it's specific, it's measurable. Is it achievable? Yes, because it's specific. Is it relevant? Of course, it's relevant because if you can achieve this, then you are close to achieving your customer satisfaction. Is it time bound? Now, if you look at this, you could see probably there's no time there. Yeah. So the only thing I can do in this case, you can say, I could just say, okay, to track all learning content between the 3 months that you're in the program. Yeah, between 3 months. We've built that to deliver and to track learning content in 3 months. So that is the time. Although here I didn't include the time. Yeah. So I can decide now to include the time to make this objective smart. Yeah. It's good practice to ensure that all these points, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time bound, is considered when you are developing your objective. Yeah. Your goal, you might not really be too specific in terms of a goal. It might just be one statement, a long-term statement that you can achieve over time. Yeah. Then your goal is more like when they ask you, what is your sprint goal? Yeah. You realize your sprint goal is to build, probably first of all, starts with your login and registration. Yeah. Although that's not the case here, I'm just saying. Yeah. Then you now move to the next objective. Again, 1, 2, 3 objective aligns with your goal. Your objectives must align with your goal. So improve learner engagement and competition rates by at least 30% within the first year. Does this meet, does this meet the SMART goal? Let's see. Do you think this meets the SMART goal? That number 2 objective. Yeah? Is this specific? Let's engage now. Specific?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Improve learner engagement. That's specific. Improve engagement and completion rate by 30%. You see, 30% by 30% means is measurable. So at the end of the day, we can test, yeah, if we achieve the 30% or we exceed it. Yeah. If it's lower than 20% at the end of the day, we know that we've not achieved 30%. So we are under. So, but we are looking at achieving this within the first year. You can see now there's a time there. There's time bound and it's also relevant. Does it make sense? So you can see there's time, there's measurements there, and we know it's relevant and we know it's achievable and it's specific. Yeah. Unlike this one, that there is no time. Yeah. And there's no measurement. Yeah. Let's look at the third one. Ensure 100% compliance tracking for mandatory training. There's time there. No, sorry. There's no time there. Yeah. But there is what? Measurement. We can measure it. 100% compliance tracking. So you can see how I tweak this so that we could see. But it's always good practice to make sure our goals and objective meets the SMART criteria. Yeah, or SMART goal. Yeah. Okay, let's see these other 2 examples. Increase sales. Possible strategy, again, objective. Segment customer base. Implement better. What did I delete? I think I've deleted something. Emmanuel, you're too quick to delete. Implement better marketing. Okay, I see what I did. So implement better marketing. Yeah. Then the third one is to improve sales technology. Yeah. Then look at this one. Improve employee satisfaction. What are the strategies? Just means like objective. Yeah. Improve management communication. Act on employees' feedback. Enhance salary base. You can see all these 3 here, 1, 2, 3, they align with this. Improve employees' satisfaction. So you can see for us to be able to determine if we've improved employees' satisfaction, we consider salary and benefit. The employees' salary, are they happy with their salary and benefits? If yes, we are close. Act on feedback. Employees always give us feedback. Do we act on the feedback? Maybe previously, no. Now, yes. Employee can see it. Yeah. Improve management communication. Yeah, you always give feedback. You always communicate. Whatever is changing, you're telling your employee. So your employee are always informed and they're happy because they're not stressed that they don't know if their work is going to be taken from them tomorrow. Yeah. So you can see all these 3 strategies aligns with the top goal. So the same thing here. Yeah. I have to correct this. I have to correct that. Let's understand before I go out of this page. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. I hope you understand here. I made a mistake here. So this is supposed to be implement better marketing. Yeah. Then the third one is to improve sales technology. Yeah. So again, give business context. We define the problem or the opportunity statement. You define the goals and objective. These are context. Yeah. Then the next, we now look at options. Okay. Remember, we have strategy, goals, and objective. How do we achieve this? If I take us back here again to the beginning, yeah, there is an opportunity to modernize training through a centralized learning management. So we are trying to build a learning management system so that all our training contents will be delivered and monitored there. So if you come down here, we've defined the objective. How do we intend to achieve it? Now, let me just say this. I'm not connecting what we are doing here to what we have previously. Yeah. I'm just bringing up example that we could mirror. Yeah. So they are not really connected, but I'm just bringing up those examples so that we can look at it and make sense of it. Yeah. So part of the strategy here is want to build a website. That's our goal. Yeah. So what are the options that we have when we are building a website? This is what we call option analysis. Yeah. What's the time here? Okay, option analysis. I have to be quick now. Yeah. Option analysis is a systematic comparison of alternative course of action. That means we know our goal. How do we intend to tackle it? Yeah, we want to build a learning management website or system. Okay. How can we approach it? Yeah. We're looking at options now. As a business analyst, you always look at options. You do your feasibility study. Yeah. How can this be implemented? What are the solutions we have out there? Now, here, we look at all the solution options here. Yeah. The first, you always have the option of doing nothing. That means you leave everything as status quo, the way it is. Nothing change. Yeah. Two, we want to look at the market and see if something we can buy off the vendor. Yeah. Or three, we could build our own. Yeah, we could build our own learning management system, which you guys are doing now. Or we can outsource it to an organization where their core business, yeah, is training. So if our core business is not training, we want to decide to outsource it, is an option. So we have 4 options here. Option 0, option 1, 2, and 3. Now, we want to analyze those options and see which one best suits our which one will best suit what we are looking at based on the money that we have, based on the risk, yeah, based on how feasible it is to set up. Yeah. First, let's see, do nothing. To continue as normal, so nothing changed. The description, continue with normal tracking, Excel spreadsheet. Maybe that's what we used before. Now, how much will it going to cost us? How much are we going to spend for it? Nothing, because we already have it. There's nothing we're spending in this case. Any upfront benefits or any charge? No, nothing. What's the risk? The risk is low. Yeah, but the risk is low. There's no benefits. There's nothing changing anyway. Things remains the same. But because things is the same, that's why we're looking for another solution. Yeah. Let's say feasibility is high because we're using it anyway. Yeah. So let's look at the second option. Cloud-based subscription. We want to buy a cloud-based system, probably from AWS or from Azure. or from Google or from IBM, whatever it is, yeah, want to buy their software, yeah, to use. Okay, how much will it cost us? Say 80 pounds, 80,000 pounds over 5 years. Okay, that's fine. Do we have the money? Probably yes. Okay. How are we going to deploy it? We know already it's quick deployment, and the vendors are going to support it, and it's also scalable. That's why it's even that expensive. Yeah. Okay. What are the risks? The risk simply means it's vendor lock. There is little change that we can do there. Yeah. There's little change that we can do there. So that means some of the features that we want, we might not have it. Yeah. So we just have to go with what those features that they can provide. Then feasibility studies. Sorry, feasibility. Feasibility simply means how easy can we use it? As in, how easy can it be deployed? Can it be used? Yeah. Now, for benefits, we can see quick deployment. That's the benefit. We can scale easily. Yeah. And the vendors are going to manage it. But when now talks come about actually deploying it into our or integrating it into our system, we might have some challenge. Yeah. But in this case, we don't really have challenge. Say, hi, vendor is available. Yeah. It's always available. And what's the technical barrier there is very low. So that makes sense. So let's look at building it ourselves. We have to employ yourself, you and your team to build it. How much will it cost us? 150,000 pounds over 5 years. You could see the cost here is low. The cost for doing our own is high. What's the benefits? You can see that we can customize it the way we want because we have control over our own because it's our own. It's not like the one that we are buying that we don't have control. So it's vendor lock. That's the risk. So what's the risk here? The risk is likely upfront cost. The money to start up is high. We have to pay Scrum Master, pay business analysts, pay developers, pay the QAs, yeah, to get it done. So it's a huge cost for us. Yeah. Feasibility, yes, is medium. Yeah, it's medium because there's some slight challenge that we might face because of the platform. Yeah. So now let's look at outsourcing. We want to give it out for an organization that their core business is training. You can see to outsource is 200,000 pounds over 5 years. No admin burden, expert trainers, compliance handled, so we don't have to worry about anything. Yeah, but it's very expensive. Risk, loss of control, we don't have control. No data ownership, high cost. That's the risk. Feasibility, yes, high. Provider will provide everything. So let's look at this. Let's break it down. Going by all these things that we have on this heading, we could see that in terms of cost here is 0, cost here is 8 over 5 years, cost here is 150 over 5 years, cost here is 200 over 5 years. You could see when you look at the cost here, you see this one is the lowest cost, followed by this. So that means we are looking at this too. See, we started with the cost. What are going to be what's the benefits? We'll look at the benefits too. Yeah, quick deployment, full customize, complete. Yeah, so we're looking at the most important thing here is the cost and the risk before we look at benefits. Yeah, so let's look at vendor lock. That's a risk. Let's look at this other one too. There's another option. High upfront costs, risk of delay, possible delay, high maintenance. Yeah. So again, it's tied to the cost. Feasibility here is high, it's easy. Here is medium. So if you now go back, again, they say something about recommendation. What do you recommend at the end of the day? You are a business analyst, you've done your feasibility studies, you've come up with figures and facts. Yeah? So what do you recommend? Based on all these things that you have been looking at, you could see that this one in red is the best option, followed by building your own. Yeah? These other two, doing nothing and outsourcing, yeah, does not really support our idea. Yeah? So we recommend the best. Again, this is analyzing options. Those are the things you are going to be doing with your team as a, writing a business case is a teamwork. It's not just a business analyst work. Yeah, but feasibility studies, you're going to include your technical guys. They're going to come in. Everybody's going to come on board to do this analysis. So there are different ways you can do analysis. This is one. Yeah. Then this is two. This one, we call it weighted scoring. You guys want me to take us on this one? The weighted score. Should we talk about it?
Yeah, you can tell us.
Yes, please.
Okay. So what this one means is similar to this. Yeah, similar to the one at the top. But the difference is, yeah, as a team, we decide what score to weigh costs, for instance, or benefit or risk of feasibility study or feasibility. Yeah, we assign a score to it. So we could see for risk, we assign 30% to its score. For benefit, the same 30. For risk, yeah, because we know risk is an issue, yeah, but it's not really high there. So we score it 20. We look at feasibility. That's implementation now. We also scored it because it's not really a big issue. We scored it 20. Yeah. Then we also want to categorize the criteria. We also want to assign a score, like if they ask you a question from 0 to 10, how comfortable are you? Yeah. You understand those kind of questions when you're doing survey. Say from 0 to 10, how comfortable are you? 10 being the best, why 0 being the worst? Yeah. So that's how you're going to be looking at this. So for the first option, which is do nothing, we give it a score of 5. Yeah. For the benefits, we give it a score of 1. Now, this is something that you guys are going to agree as a team to. Let's just score it. Let's give it 1. Come to risk, under doing nothing, we give it 1 as well. We come to feasibility, we give it 5. Yeah. So it's the same thing that we're going to do with all of them. But at the end of the day, remember, it has a weighted score of 30% at the top here. So we multiply that 10%. No, sorry, that 30%. Yeah, by 5. If you multiply 30%, yeah, by 5, you should get 1.5. You want to try it? Yeah, should we try it? Do we have calculator here? You can try it on your own individually. So all you just need to do is to multiply 30% times 5. Then we have, that's 30, yeah, over 100 times 5.
1.5.
Yeah. So you do the
1.5.
same, yes. So you do the same thing to this and this. See, this is 1. This is 1. This is 5. Yeah. So you multiply 5 by 20%, you get your result, which is 1.0. You multiply 1 by 20%, you get your answer, which is 2.0. So these are the same thing that you're going to be doing here. Yeah. all of it here. Yeah. Then at the end of the day, you still recommend. You can still see, based on the weighted score, we still have that number two, second option, which is the same thing as this, as the preferred option, followed by the next, which is to build your own as the next preferred option, if the budget allows. Yeah. Then you can see how I broke it down here, if you're not very sure. Yeah. Does it make sense? It's a little bit everywhere. This is where the work actually is. Yeah. Because your stakeholders are going to look and they want to see how you arrived at their at this recommendation. Yeah. Now, those are the kind of thing.
Sorry,
If you
question,
watch the,
please.
yeah, go on.
Yeah, for the cost, the benefit, the risk, and the feasibility, the percentages, does it come automatically or it's agreed by the team as well?
The team agrees that we are
Okay.
scoring the cost 30%.
30,
We are
okay,
scoring
okay,
the risk 20%.
okay.
Then the team also agrees that, okay, we've scored those headings. Yeah. Let's now weigh the score. Let's give it a score now.
Mm-hmm.
Between 1 to 5, how do we see doing nothing in terms of the cost? We assign 5 to do nothing. Yeah. Then we assign 1 to benefits. We assign 1 to risk as well. We assign 5 to feasibility. It's the team that is going to agree on this.
Okay. So that's
Yeah.
after the BA has done all of the whatever the analysis the requirements gathering and all that. So the
No, no,
team
no.
comes
The requirement gathering has not come at this point.
okay after the option analysis up there is done by the BA, right?
The
Or it's
team,
still the team? It's still the team. Okay. I just want to
like
be
I
double
said,
sure.
like I said again, when you're doing a business case, it's a teamwork.
Okay,
You,
okay. That clears it
you,
out for me because when you said
yeah.
it's majorly a BA, so that's why I'm wondering how is a BA already um coming
And
together with the
let me
team?
tell you this. You are a
Okay.
BA, yeah.
Okay.
You know more about the project than the project manager, so you can easily be moved to become a project manager. They pay the project manager more than they pay you, but they need you to get the job done. So you understand the intricacies of all these things. The project manager might not. So that means you're going to facilitate all these things, yeah, with the team because you have the technical knowledge of how to go about this, although the project manager also do, yeah. But between you and the project manager, you going to be facilitating this, yeah. Does it make sense?
Yeah, I do
Yes,
get it
just
now.
1 minute.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Manuel, 1 minute. Olufunke, you remember what we did for the KPIs metrics? It's always almost the same thing. This the option analysis was our metrics. Then this was our weighted average, if you remember.
Yeah, yeah. No, I didn't quite catch the fact that it had to be the team. I was thinking it was
The team.
basically a BA doing all of that, and I was wondering how would a BA now go to the team to do all of it. But I understand perfectly now. Thank you. Thank you, Nuko.
Now I'll tell you this because you are the BA. You are relating to. Can you hear me still?
Yes, we can. Yeah.
You are the BA. You are going to engage with the technique. Remember, you are the bridge between technical guys and the business. You are the bridge. So you are going to communicate with the developers or the technical guys. What do you think? Yeah. And based on what they are telling you, you are giving feedback to the business what they think. But now when we are doing this, you've already looked at all that thing, yeah, with the technical guys. You have a perspective, but the business does not really understand the technical language. So when everybody come together, because you've already engaged them, yeah, you facilitate it. Then you come and agree. This is what we are doing. Let's agree. What do we score this? How do we see this? Yeah. Now, for yourself, the business analyst, you actually are asking question. And based on the question that they are giving you, that is what you are using to feed into your documents. You are not creating anything by yourself. You are not creating requirements. Yeah. You are asking them what they want. You are putting it into the documents. You are going back to them to say, is this exactly what you need? And they are telling you, yeah. If it's not what they need, they'll say, oh, no, that's not what we want. We want this other one. So because of that, you've gathered that these are all the options you've been able to get from your technical guys or your developers. Yeah, you've gathered these options to buy off the shelf, to build a new system, or to outsource it. That's what you've gathered. Yeah. So together with the other team members, that's the business, you now agree on how to score this. Yeah. Does it make sense?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
It's easy. So again, talk about recommendation. Now, the reason we have this breakdown here is because so that we have evidence of how we arrived at our recommendation. Does it make sense now? Yeah. So now the
Yes.
question now is, what is a recommendation? Now, a recommendation will simply state what you're stating what the recommendation is. Yeah. You explain why it is the best option, and you link the evidence. That's everything you have here. Yeah. The best option, the recommendation is the second one, which is off the shelf. Then based on this breakdown, they know how you arrived at your recommendation. Yeah. Does it make sense now? So for this one now, you see option one, purchasing off-the-shelf cloud-based LMS is the best option. This option provides the best balance in terms of cost, benefits, and feasibility. It allows quick deployment, provide vendor support, and scalability for future training needs. While customer-built solution offers more tailored feature, again, you're comparing, yeah, with the next close best option. The higher cost, longer time, and development risk makes them less viable. So you have two good options here, which is option 2 and 3, or 1 and 3. Yeah. But 1 is the most preferred. 2 is the next. So while you are saying this is the best option, you are also saying this is the reason you are not picking the next in line. Does it make sense?
Yep.
So now, implementing the cloud LSM will provide training efficiency, enhance reporting, and enhance compliance with a minimal operation disruption. That's just a recommendation. Yeah. And the next is the implementation plan. How will you implement this? Those are the things the stakeholders want to see. How do you intend to implement this? You look at, are you in an agile environment or waterfall? what methodology do you use in the organization? Here is Agile, basically. Yeah. So look at the plan. We know the objective. How many people are going to be using, cloud-based LMS to 500 employees? See, 500 people are going to be using the system. So that's what you want to deploy within 3 months. You could see deploy cloud-based to 500 employees within 3 months. So you can see that as an objective. Again, is that objective smart? Yeah. Is it specific? Yes. Is it measurable? Yes. Is it time bound? Yes. 3 months. Measurable, 500 people. You can measure it. Yeah. You can test it. Is it time bound? Yes. Within 3 months. Yeah. What else? Is measurable? Is specific? What am I missing? Is relevant. Yeah. So it has to meet the SMART criteria, SMART goal criteria. Let's look at the task. What are the activities? Month 1, again, iteration, sprint 1, finalize vendor contract, define the system requirements. Sprint 2, I'm just using an example because this is the plan. First month, second month, third month. Yeah. So in your sprint, you can decide that maybe in your second month, you want to break it down now to 2 weeks, right? For your sprint. So you can now be putting the things in place, but at the end of 3 months, you have to go live. Yeah. So 3 months, conduct user training and launch full go live. Does it make sense? Now, going down again, what are the responsibility for yourself as the Scrum Master, the business analyst, the delivery manager, whoever is involved in the project? What are their responsibilities? You want to state it. Remember, you have a stakeholder analysis. Or what's the other one called? Stakeholder metrics, and which other one? Power interest metrics. Yeah. So on your stakeholder metrics, that's where you have your role and responsibility. Yeah. So your power interest metrics is talking about those stakeholders interested in the projects. You're analyzing their power and their interest in the project. Yeah. So from there, you can pick up all these roles and responsibility and state it there. How much resource do we have? 800K. That's the cost of the project. Infrastructure and vendor support. Everything is 80K. Yeah. What are the risks? You also want to identify the risk involved. Yeah, you want to state it. And what are the mitigation plan? If there's a risk, you need a mitigation plan. You also need to specify it. Okay. What does good look like? What is success criteria? Again, you deploy it, you test it, you check 90% of user active within the first month of deployment. Yeah. So once it goes live, after the first month, you test to see if 90% of the people, remember it's 500 people. Yeah. If 90% of these 500 people are using it within the first 1 month, you find out that, okay, fine, you've achieved your goal. Yeah, that is what good looks like. Then based on that, training completion rates, you look at it, 85%. Those are the things that you measure against. Post implementation, post go live. You know what go live is? Yeah. Do you know what go live is?
Yes, for me.
Say?
I said yes for me when
So basically you look at this, yeah, it means when you deploy to live environments where customers can or users can access it and work on it directly. You are not the the clone environment, which is the test environment, is the live environment. Yeah. So the test you are doing, once they conduct that test, they now move it, they now deploy it or release it to the to the live environment. Because all the while, your developer and your QA, the developer are working on the dev environment. Your QA are working on the clone site, which is the test environment. Then the live environment is where they're going to deploy it to. That's why you have the dev environment, the QA environment. Once the developers has done their work in their development environment, the DevOps engineer will have to move it to the test environment. Then the test, and from the test environment, if the QA does all their job correctly and there's no bug, everything is fine, then they will fix a date where they will now ship it or deploy it to the live environment. Yeah, that's why they have to test it before they ship it. They deploy it to the live environment, so there's no error, no bug. Yeah. So if it's waterfall, this is what you're going to follow. If it's agile, this is what you're going to be looking at. Yeah. Does it make sense, guys?
Yes, it does.
Okay. So another part of it is the financial analysis, the cost benefit analysis. Now, this part is why your accountants are going to be part of the team that is going to develop this. Because for you, you might not know the accounting bits of it. Yeah. If you are not a financial analyst, you might not know all these accounting bits. So this is also very important to add to your business case. Yeah. So the financial analysis, you're talking about the cost benefit analysis. That means you're looking at the cost of the entire project and the benefit of the project. But in this case, you have to develop and spend a lot of huge chunk of money at the initial phase of the project. Then you have an expectation time where you start benefiting from the project. Does it make sense? That's why they call it cost benefit analysis. You cannot be enjoying the dividends of the project while you are building the project. It's only after you implemented it, you now start waiting for when you would recoup your cost back and start making profit. Yeah. So under cost benefit analysis, we have the capital cost, which is usually called the CapEx. Yeah. The capital expense. Yeah. That's the CapEx. Is that one-time payment, one-time cost? For example, this project, they say it's going to cost, say, 80,000 pounds, for instance. Yeah. Or say 50,000 pounds. Yeah. That's the cost that you use for the implementation of the project, where you used to pay your developers, your QA, your Scrum Masters, and buy all the licenses that you need. Yeah. One-off cost. Then the next cost is the operational cost. After implementation, you need to continue to manage, yeah, the website. What's the cost of running the website? That's operational cost. Yeah. Then also have contingency, unforeseen cost. Yeah. You also factor that one in if you have it. Yeah. We also have, in terms of the benefits, we have two types of benefit, the tangible benefit and the intangible benefits. The tangible benefit are those benefits that you can measure. The intangible benefits cannot be measured. They can be measured, but not the same way you measure the tangible benefits because it does not have figures. It's more like feeling, like customer satisfaction. How do you measure customer satisfaction? Because it's an intangible benefits, yeah, or disbenefits, yeah. But tangible benefits such as
Sorry, Mr.
um,
Emmanuel, but can we measure the customer satisfaction by the amount of feedbacks we get?
yeah, that's how you measure those
Okay.
ones. Yeah. So, but for the tangible, it's figures like profits or say um revenue increase. Yeah, you can calculate that one. How much did you generate? You can calculate those back. There's a different way to analyze some of those contents. Yeah. So you could see here, categorize them here. Yeah. For the development of, again, we're looking at we're looking at deploying this LMS cloud base. Yeah. So this is how much it's going to cost us. All these are just assumptions, nothing. Oh, yeah. It's going to cost us initial cost to implement before deploying to live. We now have an operating cost of 10 grand. Yeah. Within that first year, an operating cost of 10 grand, then tangible benefits. Within that year, we earned 25,000 pounds. So that's the tangible benefits. Now, intangible benefits you could see is high. Yeah. Improve compliance, better user experience. Everything here is high. You understand? Everybody's happy. Yeah. Second year, there is no capital cost because we've deployed already. We spent the money in year one. Well, but we only raise benefit of 25 thousand pounds. Yeah. Year two, we generated 30,000 pounds. Although there's another operation cost. You see, operation cost is steady round because we have to do subscription every year. So that cost is there. Yeah. But what do we generate? 30. Third year, we generated 35. Fourth year, we generated 35. Fifth year, we generated 40. So here we talk about, again, cost benefit analysis. The cost against the benefits. So this is the cost, this is the benefits. So now we'll be talking about the net benefits. What's the net benefits here? So we look at how much, yeah, that means we're looking at the capex, yeah, or the capital cost and the operating cost, yeah. We add it together, yeah. Does it make sense? The capital and the operating, say for year one, we add the cost, total cost here is 50, operating cost here is what? 10, right? So what do? Once we add everything up, yeah,
Sorry,
like
Mr.
that,
Emmanuel, just
yeah,
to
go on.
just to come back. You said the capital cost you're going to include the class.
Capital cost is, let's say you guys are the one that is building, let's say you guys are the one involved in this project,
Yes.
yeah? So part of the cost is what they are paying you.
Oh, I was thinking it's going under operational cost because it's overhead. I don't know how
That
you.
is different.
I don't have much
Project is
idea.
different from
Okay.
operation. That's why it's a project. Your project has a timeline. You have
Okay.
3 months to build this. After 3 months, you hands up. Yeah. That's why by the time you
Yeah.
finish one project, they now move it to another project. You are
Okay,
not
thank you
dealing
very
with
much.
operations. Now,
Okay, because okay.
part of operation might be this subscription. Maybe they have other people that they are paying to manage it. But as a project team, you are not included in the project and in the operation cost. You don't run it. You just deliver your project and you move on to other things. Yeah.
Okay.
So
All right.
salary can also be part of operating costs. But
Okay.
from your own
Thank you.
perspective, you do not have business here. Your own, you are looking at the costs that they use in building it. Your own salary is inside there. Once you deliver your
Okay.
project, your work has finished. That's why some people, once they've developed they've finished a certain project, they don't have work anymore. Yeah, they start looking for work again. If you're a contractor, yeah, you start looking for work again. Once you deliver a project, there's no project again for you. Your job has finished. Yeah, but for those operating the project, once they go live, you hand over. So that's where the operating cost comes in. You understand now? Yeah. So
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
operating cost is now total cost is this cross 5 years. Yeah. Let me take us back. No, let me take us back here. Here. No, it's now. Remember when we were here, we talked about 3 months. This project is just 3 months project. Once you deliver, you move on to other things. Yeah. So that's where during these 3 months is when they are paying you. Once you deliver, they can't pay you for this project again because the money has finished. Remember, in this case, the budget is 8K. So your cost is inside the 8K. Everything is inside 8K before you deliver. Yeah. So in this case, we're looking at 5 years. We've given ourselves 5 years to start making profit. Yeah. So look at operating costs for the 5 years. See 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 50 plus total costs for the implementation, which is 50. So everything is 100. Yeah. So now let's look at what point did we start making profits? Again, in that 5 years, 50 plus this is 100. Yeah.
No,
At
that's
what
60.
point did we
50
start
plus 10 is
making
60. You said 100.
50 here now? 50 plus all these costs,
Oh, okay. For the five.
Okay.
all the for the
For the
5 years.
5-1.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I thought you were looking at year one. Okay.
Yeah. Now, year one benefit is 25. So now we're looking at when did we start making profits in these 5 years? If we add up all this together, let's say 25 plus 30. Now remember, this is everything that we've spent, 100K, yeah, for 5 years. Yeah. In that 5 years, when did we start making profit? Let's start 25 times
Started in year
say
4.
30. Yeah, you see that that's 55, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
yes, 55. Is 55 greater, yeah, than our cost here?
No,
100,
no.
no.
So it's not. So we move to the next. We have another 35. So if we now start calculating from here, we realize, yeah, that we start
Mhm.
making profits. I think when we are here, because this is 25, this is 35.
90
35,
plus
35, then
We
by this
started
time,
in year 4 midway.
yes. So we start
yeah.
making profit. Yeah. So your net benefit at that point, you minus whatever cost that you have against the benefits. So that's why we have, where's the amount there? That's why we have that. Yeah, 65.
Mhm.
Yeah. So start making the 65, I think at
Yeah, form it.
yeah, it's supposed to be yeah. If it's 25, this is
That's 65. This is 5 here.
yeah, because
And
it's
this
5
is
years, you're just looking at the cost. So this plus all this minus this 55. 55 plus 35 is
90.
yeah, we started making profit even at year 2. Yeah, why? Because that's your total cost is 50. At year 2, we've broken even already, although we've not looked at our operating cost. So by the time we now add our operating cost, we'll now be seeing that what I mean is at this point, we've made over the money that we use in implementing it. Yeah, plus operating cost at year 2, we started making money.
No,
So that's
sir.
why the payback period is 2
No,
years.
sir. I don't agree, sir.
Yeah, do you
I don't
understand?
agree.
Now,
No, I don't agree.
you don't agree?
Yes, sir. But year 2, you'll be spending 70.
Okay.
Because 50 plus the operating cost, 10. And year 2, that's 20 plus 50, 70.
Okay, let's do it like this. If you minus 100, yeah, if you add up all this, what do you have?
50, 90.
65.
If you add up all this, what do you have?
165.
165.
165, right? If you
Yeah.
minus 165 from 100, what do you have?
65.
At what point do you start making 65 grand?
Yeah, 4.
Yeah, 4. This plus this.
It's 55.
Now, the most important point here is this is your cost. Yeah?
Yeah.
That is your project cost. That's your focus.
Yeah.
Yeah? That's year 2. You've already made your project cost.
But sir, what are the operating costs?
Sir, please just clarify me.
Calm down. Hold on. Now, this is 5 years. Yeah?
Yeah.
This is your operating cost for 5 years.
Yes.
No. For 5 years, this is what you earn.
Yes.
Yeah? Which is the 165, right?
Yes.
If you minus it from the total cost, which is capital cost and operating cost, you have 65. Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, this project budget was 50.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, at what point did you raise back your project cost?
Yeah, which is 100 or 50.
The project cost is 50. That's the capital cost.
But sir, you know that.
Calm down. Just follow me. Do you know that? Yeah?
Okay, sir.
Now, you know what they call break even? Or for example, let's say if you put 50K into a business, yeah? When do you think you start calculating your profit? When you make over the 50K, right? When you make the 50K, anytime you make the 50K and over, right? That's what you call profit, right? Does it make sense? Adetoy.
Yes, makes sense.
You invested 50,000, yeah, for the initial project because the business is going to get back the cost of their initial capital because maybe you got the money from a bank, yeah, you return the money back, yeah.
Okay.
So you invested 50K. Calm down, yeah. But
You.
from your estimation, you've looked at it over 5 years. You've calculated the cost over 5 years, but you're focusing when will you start paying back the money that you borrowed, your initial deposit, which is the capital cost. Yeah, you can see at year 1, you are making less than, yeah, which is 25. If you now move to year 2, if you calculate 30 plus, in year 2, you've added another 30K. You benefit, you have another tangible benefit of 30K in year 2, right? If you add it together, it gives you 25. Sorry, it gives you 55. Yeah?
Yes, sir.
55 is bigger than the 50K that you used, right?
Yes, sir.
So at year 2, you've already start generating profit. That's why it's called the payback period. Because at year 1, you cannot pay. You are still under.
But
At year 2, yeah,
so,
go on.
excuse me, you are talking about total cost here, which is 100. And if my payback period is 2 years, which is 100, so I mean 2 years here is just 55. That's what I don't understand.
Yes, sir.
Because if
Okay,
you're
let's
just using just
understand.
the costs, the capital cost without total
Just
cost, which means I'm not adding the operational
calm.
costs.
That's why I said it. You're not an accountant. So what I'm talking about might be, you might not understand it, except you're an accountant. Yeah? And that's why you have your accounting team to also join to do this. I understand this because I've done it. So as I'm telling you now, let's say we are just laying people. If you invest, say, 5K into a business, let's say you borrow 5K from the bank and you invested it in a business. Yeah? But when you are doing your proposal to the bank, you've already told the bank by so number of years, you start paying them. Yeah? The bank will have to assess the proposal and they'll see all these things there. Yeah? So they want to know, when will you when will you start paying back or break even? We call it break even analysis. When will you start paying back? When will you make back the capital that you borrowed to set up the business? Does it make sense now?
It's not so straightforward, like you said, but with the accountants,
Let me not
It makes sense to
bore
me
you.
because we're
Let's look
talking
it
just
like
about the
this.
capital cost.
Sir, well, let me say something, sir. For your
Go on.
analysis, look at this
Yeah, go on.
operating cost. When this is operating cost, that means even if your capital, you invested 50,000 capital, this thing is not able to generate money if you are able to pay this 10,000, which is annual subscription, because you don't pay those other subscriptions.
No. Operations cost. You see where you're getting it wrong now.
I've understood now, sir.
Operations cost is not a project cost.
Cost, yeah, it's embedded in the company. Thank you.
The
I've gotten
business
it.
has given you money to embark on this project and you've delivered the project. Yeah? You know what they call variable cost? You know what variable cost is? So maybe you need to go into that. Now, the business have already invested 50K. That 50K, they are going to get the 50K back. So now that's the focus. So when do you start generating? Yeah. The problem that you're having now is you're looking at the benefits, because the benefit here is 65, because you have to add the cost here and the cost here over 5 years. Then you also deduct it from the benefit over 5 years. But that is not what we are looking at when we're looking at payback. Yeah? Now, this is run costs. Operating cost is a run cost. This is the cost that you use in investing, so you focus on it. When you start paying back is when you raise the money that you invested. Operating cost is not an investment cost, because definitely you're going to make your money back. But when do you make this money back? Because I've taken the risk to give you this money to set up. When will you give me? What year will you start making the money back?
Understood.
So you find out that if you add the benefits in year one, you are not making up to what you have here. Yeah. If you now add the benefits in year two, you could see that you've already, yeah, passed that 50%, 50,000 that you use for your initial deposit. So at this point, you start paying, making profits because you've already passed this. You started making profits. Yeah. Now, this run cost is constant. Whatever you continue to pay the run cost. Yeah. So it will get to a point where this cost, you must pay it back, whether or not you like it. The business will have to recover their money back because they have to invest in other businesses. Yeah. So that's why I said, if you're not an accountant, don't just worry yourself. You have an accounting guys that will help you to break this thing down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but now you made us understood because at first you did not tell us that this was borrowed. That was where we had the problem. Because if you said this
Where
was
do you
initially
get
borrowed,
investment from? When you do a project, money does not come from heaven now.
Either you borrow or you take it from the source, you have to
You have
return
to
it.
return. Exactly. You have to return. So the point of where you start making profits, yeah, you know that you are now more relaxed because now you start making profit. When you start seeing that you're making profit, when your initial cost, yeah, you see that it's being made. And that's what I'll call it a payback period. 2 years is when we estimate that. Yeah. Again, there's so much. So you look at the payback period, yeah. You could still use this to do the cumulative if you want. Me, I don't care about all these things because I could see it from here. Yeah. But for somebody that wants to be detailed, they might want to look at all these benefits as it is here. See the way I've broken it down here. Yeah. You can even see it. It's even here, sir. Can you see the breakdown here? Year one, year two.
yes, sir.
Yeah. Year three, you've made enough money. Yeah. You've covered your 50K. They can go and sleep, take their money back. Operations still going. Yeah. So if we have problem with this one, what do we think of this? Yeah. This one is a little bit complex because we're looking at the return
Okay.
on the investment. Now, I'm not going to explain this to you because we're going to fight. Yeah. It has a formula. If you go online, look at return on investment, it will give you. Yeah. But you don't need to worry. Once you have this is enough. Yeah. But this can follow. Your accountant will build this one for you. It's almost the same principle. Yeah, with this. But this, you have to look at it from a percentage perspective. Yeah. So once you have this a part of your documentation, do we watch Lions Den? I believe we would have seen Lions Den once at some point. Yeah. Yes or no? Have we watched Lions Den?
For me, no.
Say no. Really?
No.
In Lions Den, they will ask you these questions. When do you think you would start making
Oh,
profits?
you mean the Lions then when they're pitching their
Yes.
I watched I
yes,
watched the one
yes,
similar Shark Attack.
Yes, the same. They
yeah.
are trying to, what they are doing is they are presenting their proposal. Yeah, as a business case, it's a proposal. Yeah, You can see how they are. That's how stakeholders are going to be looking at your work, all this work. They want to see how you arrive at the solution. How do you decide to implement? When do you think you start making profits? If at all, have you established anything? Have you tested anything to see how much you can make from it? All that the questions are going to be asking you. So it's your business case. You need to have all that because nobody's going to invest. Again, you remember, they want to invest 50K. Yeah. They want to know how you're going to use the 50K and when they start going to make their money back. That's the point of a business case. What's the justification for me to release the 50K? Yeah. Because I know after the 50K, you can see now that they continue making money. You could see they still have some part of the money you are making. They have a percentage, but they've taken away what they invested. It's business for you. So that's what the business case is. I hope I've not confused you guys. If I have, unmute and tell me I'm confusing you.
I'm okay.
Do you agree? Are we still friends? Okay. So, but like I said, you're working with a team. Yeah. All this will be taken care of. Yeah. You're not an account expert. Everybody knows. It's only God will help you that you understand this. If you understand it, fine. If you don't, you have the accountant. That's their work. You don't have to worry yourself over work that somebody is going to do. Just make sure that whatever you are doing is, spot on. Let the accountant worry about all these figures. Yeah. They're the one that are going to balance everything. Next, this is basically the benefits. Yeah. How did we arrive here? Based on what we are looking at. Yeah. What value is that website going to create for us? Remember, originally, let me take us back again. When we're doing the case here, when we're talking about the context. Yeah. A third platform. Remember, that's a problem. Yeah, that's a current situation. Yeah. Now they want to shift into digital learning solution with competitors already offering that. So now, again, because this is the goal, yeah, they want to now assess at this point the value. Are we getting the benefits that we thought we were going to get from the project? Yeah. What are the benefits now that we have everything? What are we going to benefit from it? So you want to state it. Centralized access for all users at any time, anywhere. High engagement through interactive learning. Reliable compliance tracking to reduce regulatory risk. Long-term cost savings. Visos external training provider. Yeah, those are just the benefits. So you just come here, you state the tangible, the intangible, the strategic competitive advantage that you have over your competitors. You just state it here, because it's your selling point. You're the one that is trying to sell this project to get investment. Go on, Aditoye.
Sorry to drag you back, sir. That table, who's going to generate the table and who's going to defend it?
Come again?
The former table, that second table, this table, sir. Who's going to generate it and who's going to
Now,
defend it?
if you have this, is okay because you understand. Even if you don't understand, you have an accountant. They will do this breakdown for you because you guys are working together. Yeah, you guys did this together. So they could see all the build up. Yeah.
Okay.
So they know how much has gone in and how much is going to be operating costs for the plan is for 5 years. Yeah.
Okay.
Then how much you're going to be getting. All those calculations are things that they will come up with. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So once you talk about the benefits, because it's your selling point, this is what you're going to benefit if you invest in in this project. Yeah. You also want to highlight the risk. Now, these are the things I captured here in the implementation plan, part of the risk. Yeah. And the dependencies. Now, I don't know if you guys have heard of what they call the read log. They told you are APM, you're supposed to have heard about the read log. Yeah. So
Yes.
part of it is the risk and mitigation. So you want to capture the risk, identify some of the risk. Again, you remember the project, yeah, has not been approved. Yeah. The reason you are doing the justification for the project so that the business will look at the project and say, okay, this makes sense, we can invest. Yeah. That's why you're doing your business case. So you're also going to identify some risks that you think might likely, you know, create a problem in the future, in your project. You want to identify it. You know what risk is? Yeah. Then once you
Yes.
identify those risks, you also put a mitigation plan in place.
You can
Yeah.
sell out to can source.
Come again?
So you can source some risk.
It depends on your mitigation plan. Yeah. You have to identify it, and you categorize it based on the probability and impact so that you understand the severity of the risk. Then you put a mitigation plan in place. Yeah. Now, part of the risk as part of the risk also, you want to consider assumptions and dependencies. Yeah. You want to identify it. For example, if you do not have the best, if you don't bring up all the stakeholders, key stakeholders together, you might miss out some points. Yeah. Or if a particular um, team member is not, let's say a particular team member falls sick, you know that there's likely going to be a delay, especially if it's like a developer. If he falls sick, there might likely be a delay in the project. So you want to identify it and put a plan in place. Yeah. So you have your risk, you have your assumption, risk and issue, you have your assumption, you have your dependencies. Yeah. So you have things like this is how you used to manage your risks and your issues. You come down to dependencies, you can highlight your dependencies, you know, those dependencies and assumption is something you confirm. Yeah. You ask, somebody will be responsible, you ask, is this going to be, because you are tracking, these are the things you are tracking, going to be tracking during the implementation so that everything goes as planned. If anything is derailing from your initial plan, you quickly call everybody together, find a solution, you know. At the end of the day, they want to make sure that whatever you plan, you achieve. And because again, they're looking at the cost. They don't want any extra money going into the project. Yeah. They don't want the project manager coming back to say, we need extra 10K. Again, the project might also have tolerance level. Yeah. But again, you don't have to use it. If they give you 50K to do your project, just make sure you execute the project with the 50K. Yeah. So again, those are the things, important factors that you need to know: the risk and mitigation, the assumption and dependencies. Do we have any question here? If not, let's move to the next impact assessment. Again, it's talking like feasibility studies. Yeah. How will this project impact people, process, and technology? I believe at some point we would have seen this come across the people that the ones that are going to be impacted, meaning your stakeholders. How will the project impact them? You want to understand. You also want to state, will it affect the process? How will it affect the process? Will there be a disruption? Yeah. What level are we talking about? Will there be an outage during transition or during go live? You also want to know. Yeah.
Is it more,
Technology.
sorry, is it more like they're looking at the severity of what could eventually happen?
When you talk about risk,
Okay.
or when you talk about impact, yeah, you are analyzing how the project is going to impact you. For instance, you're working here. Yeah. How will it impact you? Negative or positive, good or bad? You want to assess it. What's going to be the cost? Yeah. If it's associated with you, will you have to stop work for like a week? Or will everybody have to not
Is it
work for
possible to
some
use a
days?
SWOT analysis?
Now, you could use anything to do your impact assessment. Sometimes you don't even really need to do it. You just ask the people that are going to be using people are using it. They'll tell you. Yeah. But if you're looking at doing real feasibility study, you want to understand what the problem is or how to take advantage of the opportunity. That's when you talk about using your SWOT analysis or your HES2 analysis or your Porter 5 course or whatever tool you want to use to do your assessment at that point. Now, the impact assessment, yeah, we're talking about the project itself. Yeah, you're not looking at the problem. You've identified the problem, probably using your SWOT analysis or your gap analysis. Yeah. Now, again, can also play a role here. Let's say the people, yeah, the staffs, yeah, are not well trained. Yeah. And by the time you do your impact analysis assessment, you realize that there's a gap. Most of the staff are not well trained. So that means you understand what the gap is. You now start looking for, okay, how do we close this gap? Yeah. So you can also use that tool, your gap analysis, your SWOT analysis, you know, to do your assessment. Yeah. It all depends on how you are looking at it.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Are the people ready for it? Is the business ready? You know what they call business readiness? Maybe you would have heard it. Is the business ready for it? Those are the things you want to consider. Yeah. Do we have the right technology? Does the system that we are buying, does it fit into our own system? We want to understand that. You understand? So those are things that you want to explain. Like if you see my example here, it's a positive impact on HR, compliance, and employees' performance. So everything is good. Minimum operational disruption during rollout. So there's no really problem here. There's no outage. Everything went on fine. Yeah. So I hope we agree on this point.
The impact assessment, that is after the rollout, yeah? or is it an assumption?
Now, because, yeah, you are
Well, it's
dealing with
still a business case. It's not gone. Okay,
business,
I get you. Yeah,
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 everything here, you're trying to sell your
yeah.
proposal,
I get you. Sorry, it
yeah.
was me thinking loud.
Mm. So I hope you agree at this point. Then
Yes.
lastly, conclusion, you gain approval, yeah. So remember when we talked about the project, the program, and the portfolio, yeah. Now, you bringing up your proposal, that's your business case, your proposal, yeah. Other people are bringing their proposal as well, yeah. Then the business will now decide, this department have their proposal, that department have their proposal. Okay, based on what we are looking at, so all of them is a program, is in their portfolio, yeah. So they see all these proposals coming through because they've requested for every business area to send in their proposal so that they'll look at the project they want to do. If they can fund it, then you bring your proposal, the other people will bring their proposal, then the business will sit and look at all the proposal and look for the one that is viable for them to invest in. So if you can convince them based on what you have, then they approve it. Then you can go ahead to implement because now there's now budget for you. So that is when they now involve the Scrum team to come and help us deliver this project. Then they now employ you and employ Adetayo, Adetoye, yeah, to come and help us implement this. Yeah. Does it make sense?
It makes sense. But
Yeah.
you don't show
Then
us the ROI because I think numbers don't
I
lie.
can't do that one because you guys are not going to use it for anything.
We're going
So
to
I
use
don't
it
need
to
to
have a
waste my
project
time.
that we have to present. That's why I'm interested.
If I talk about it from now to tomorrow, you will never see one. Can assure you that. You can read that
Okay.
one up. I don't want us to debate. That's why
No, no, no debate.
we're going to debate
Mm-mm.
because it's mass. It's mass. We're going to do addition times. Okay. So executive summary. We take up everything from the beginning down to the costs, and you see the payback period. Yeah. You just give them a breakdown of everything. Yeah. Remember, the executive summary is what you write last. But when you're doing presentation, yeah, it comes to the top of the document. It becomes the first page after your content. What's that thing called? Um, what's that? The first page. Yeah, it comes next. That's the first thing they read. Before they read other things in your documents, this is what they go for. So that's why you write it last, because now you now understand everything that you have in your proposal. You now um, summarize everything. Yeah, because that kind of becomes what will catch their attention before they now start going into those details. Yeah. So who is the business case for? Understand your audience. Who are you posing this into? Yeah, you want to understand them. So you have a list here. You also have another list here. Who are your audience? You need to know them. Yeah, so that you can tailor your communication, yeah, to suit their interests. For example, your your chief financial officer, the page is interested in this page. That's all they are interested in.
Yeah.
How much? They want to see the breakdown. That's what your chief financial officer will be looking at. That's your accountant or the MD. That's what they're going to be looking at. Then the chief operating officer will be interested in not really the money. Yeah. Will be interested in, okay, how did you arrive at this? Yeah. Because he's thinking of what they are going to be looking at. So he wants to know how you arrived at this, what will be involved, so that will now make up what the operational cost is. What level of subscription do they need? Yeah. As for yourself, your project manager, yeah, you guys are the one pitching. Again, I forgot the PMO's office. The PMO's office are going to be the one to collect all the proposals from all those units, put them together. Yeah. And once the business approves, they are going to be the one monitoring the risks, the dependencies, and every other thing. Yeah. To see if the project is going well. Then for yourself and your Scrum team, yeah, the sponsor probably is the one going to be releasing the money. Yeah. So, the sponsor is always focused on, are we not spending too much? Yeah. But your product owner does not really, is also considering how much they're spending, but is only wanting to make sure you guys deliver the right product. Yeah. So, yeah, you understand your audience, then you tailor your communication to suit your audience needs. Yeah. So best practice, keep it clean, concise, use visuals and data right for your audience, anticipate objections. For example, I anticipated some objections. You know why I'm not taking the return on investment? Because we are going to debate. I already know. So I didn't put that page in so that we don't debate it. Yeah. Although I put it there, but on a good day, if I know I don't want debate, I won't put it in. Yeah. So common mistakes. We use too much jargons. We miss financial justification. Again, you see, that page is very important. They want to see breakdown. Yeah. We overpromise benefits and ignore risks. Yeah. Basically, that is all. Thank you for your cooperation. Do we have any question?
Yes, Mr. Emmanuel, thank you so much. Please, for financial analysts, that return on investment is not necessary. And the
Business
other
analyst or a
page,
financial analyst?
financial analysts, they are
Are
also
you a
business
financial
analysts for
analyst?
hire.
They are not
I
business
want to
analysts.
I want to be a financial analyst.
Yeah,
I'm
so you
looking
go
at
and
it.
read accounting.
No, from business analyst, I think we can do that, or I can do that. I was
You
told
you
that.
no, you cannot do that. No magic.
Okay. Okay, that's fine, but don't you think I mean, you just give us an idea, and also if you could quickly explain that page, the second page, please, just a brief explanation.
Why are you forcing this one?
No, I just want to learn it. I just want to have an idea.
Emmanuel, run it for us now. We know
No,
why.
I'm not
Just
going
run
to
it
do
for
that.
us.
I've been doing this for some. I know what the issues that will arise.
No, we'll not argue.
Yeah?
We just want to learn. No
No, we're
argument.
going to no, it's going to mess up everything that you already know. Yeah? Just focus on this one. Yeah? This is where you're going to be looking at. Yeah? Focus more on
I
this
don't
one.
get nothing.
What if I have
Yeah?
an interview
Hold on, hold
and
on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Ignore this because you have no business coming here. Yeah? You have your accountants that will do this. Your financial people will do this for you. You don't have business here. I'm just bringing this into scope so that you know what goes into a business case. You can't do anything here. I can assure you. All you just need to understand is you don't even need to understand what capital cost is, operational cost is. That's for your PM, yeah, or your delivery manager, yeah. But just having an understanding of the terminology is what you need. That's all. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So you don't get overloaded with what you don't need. So just focus on the things that you need. Yeah. The build up from here, 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 yeah, to this. Your recommendation. Yeah. That is your work. Yeah. Then all this part is the project manager or the delivery manager's problem. Yeah. The rest is their problem. Just relax. You're a business
Okay.
analyst. Yeah.
That would lead me to a question for you as well. Thank you so
Go on.
much. Because I wanted to ask if you're joining a project, or because like for me, most of the project I had worked on, it was just more of incremental enhancement, continuous improvement, and all what have you. This case. So will it always be something you do in every project, or like in my case, I didn't
I
have
can
that
tell you
opportunity.
that you might never see one.
Okay, because yeah, I never did anything, and even it was more of the delivery coming to the team, telling us what the impact analysis was. The fraud impact analysis was done. I kind of did a bit of it just to understand, reaching out to the stakeholders to see, okay, what will the impact be? The fraud team will say, okay, no, we've checked it. They give a feedback and
So
justify.
what's the only thing that you can do, like in your case, I believe that you've been doing is if there's a change, they do an impact assessment.
Mm,
Yeah, you want to understand how the change is going to impact whatever it is that you have. Yeah. And probably the people that are going to be involved. How will that change impact them? Yeah. So that you understand the dynamic, then you now assign a risk to it so that if it's a low risk, you don't have to worry too much. You don't have to involve probably the project board if you have that in place. But if it's a high risk, then you know that yes, you need to inform management. So that's why you do your impact assessment to determine what level of involvement. Now, at a certain level, your project manager or your delivery manager can pass whatever it is that you guys need to change. You can just say, okay, it's okay. At this level, we can approve it. But if he's now going
76.9%.
to a higher risk, can you still hear me? Can you hear
Yes,
me?
sir. Yes, sir.
So if it's a high risk that involves him going back to the sponsor or going back to the board for approval for that change because it's risky. So he needs to make them aware of that change. Then he will now involve them at that level. So that's why you do your impact assessment to see what level of involvement you will need. Yeah, because sometimes some change, you can just do it at your level. You don't even need to go to anywhere. Once you assess it, you just say, okay, this is just a small change. It's not going to impact the user. It's not going to impact anybody. Just put it in and move on. Just
okay.
discuss with your team.
No, I think I
Yeah.
can
So at that point
retrospectively.
too, they can ask you, say maybe, let's say you want to do a training in your team. Your manager might ask you, okay, why do you want to do it? Why do you want to do this training? How will this training benefit you and benefit the organization? All he's trying to tell you is to give him justification for you wanting to do that training. So you can see the business case, your case will not be like this one. You understand? Because that one, you just need some few lines. Say, oh,
Yes.
this is why I want to do this. This is what I think it to do. This is at the end of the day, this is how it's going to benefit me. Just of some few lines. That's a justification. But when you're looking at it from project level, Most times, people that do business cases, people at the high level, strategic level. Yeah. Now, from the Scrum perspective, they might not have that idea that those structures are up there because you guys are more of implement.
So
No, no,
does
you
that
can turn off recording, please.